Hello, this is Ben for the Blue Monday podcast. I have just witnessed Aston Villa 2, Ipswich 0. In the end, pretty easy win for Villa, although came from a couple of really bad goals that Ipswich were kind of culpable, and Dominic Iorfa in particular today. That said, Ipswich didn't really at any point test Villa that much. Mick made 4 changes, although I only really call it kind of 3 changes because it was Knudsen back in for Kenlock, which has been the kind of norm this season. So it was Bart in goal. Iorfa came in at right back for Spence, more from him later. Chambers centre half with Webster. Knudsen back to left back. Mick keeps Connolly in central midfield with Skews in the deep positions. Ward comes in on the right for McGoldrick. Sears comes in on the left for Selina. Waghorn off Garner in the central position up front. And from that, you can kind of see that Mick's 2 kind of magic players, Selina and McGoldrick, both out for more worker, runner type players like Ward and Sears. Villa matched up, same sort of system as Ipswich. Interestingly, Jednak, who I always had down as a midfielder, was playing centre half. Ex-Norwich player Snodgrass down the right and Adoma down the left, playing off Davis, the kind of big gangly, rather cumbersome looking forward. The game started in kind of humorous fashion with the Villa chairman kind of running around giving high fives to lots of supporters. Don't know if you're a Villa fan whether you find that fun or whether you find that a bit amusing. Certainly you would not see Marcus Evans doing that at Portman Road if he even shows up to Portman Road. First 10 minutes, very kind of tentative. Remember, this is Mick McCarthy versus Steve Bruce, a couple of very pragmatic kind of managers. Snodgrass, free kick. Hutton doesn't really get anything on the header. On 14, Ipswich win a corner, and this actually, during the game, turned out to be Ipswich's best avenue to goal. Waghorn's corners. It goes in. Garner jumps with Johnston, who didn't look very comfortable for most of the corners today. He obviously fouls him, the ball drops down, Garner puts it in, and the goal is disallowed for a foul on the keeper. Good chance here for Villa on 16. Ball slid through to Davis, who kind of does neither of the things he should have done. One of the things he should do is open up and blast it at goal. From that distance, trying to place it is hard. You need the power. Or he could have run through and take it on. He did neither, and a weak shot at Bart. And really, the first quarter of the game goes by. Villa edging it, you'd say, based on that one good chance. Ipswich, obviously, with the disallowed goal. Ipswich, a little bit of a disappointing style of play. It was very much get the ball forward, push everything up, and play from the kind of pressing position. So, not that much of an attempt to keep the ball and play through. Either that or Villa were doing more keeping of the ball themselves. Certainly Whelan was always available for Villa, and Waghorn did spend a lot of his time kind of following him into the deep midfield position. On 24, brilliant run from Iorfa. Now, Spence can't do this. He literally runs the entire length of the pitch and breaks into the box. It kind of spins back to Ward, and he smashes a fairly weak shot over. Great play by Iorfa then. Jednak, who's had a little tangle with Garner before. Presumably Villa haven't got any centre-halves if they're playing him in there anyway. He is substituted out for Chris Samba, and there's not much Ipswich can have over Villa today, but Samba was hilarious, utterly hilarious. He just doesn't really look like a footballer anymore. Lots of funny kind of moments from him throughout the game after he came on. Ipswich had their only bit of play for maybe 4 or 5 minutes from about 28 to 32, where they actually kept the ball and managed to attack Villa. Sears and Knudsen had a kind of good synchronicity down the left, and just for that time Ipswich actually got on top in the game, and that was kind of pleasing, but really 4 minutes in the 90, you need a bit more of that, of extra possession. And then another chance for Davis, headed over. Adoma looked suspiciously offside in the build-up, and kind of a free header-ish, but he's jumping, difficult chance. And we're going to the 36th minute and the goal. And let's be honest, it's just a really crap goal. Snodgrass takes the corner from the right-hand side. It kind of goes right into the middle of the 6-yard box, and Garner makes one of his sort of heroic headed clearances. But you kind of think in that area, I know there's a bit of a crowd scene, is Bart going to come from that? Kind of goes out and loops up in the air to the edge of the box, and really high in the air. No one challenges Whelan. He heads it back in, not with any direction at all, not aiming, just literally heading it back towards the goal. And it kind of drops down. Iorfa doesn't read it at all. He completely loses Adoma. Adoma gets a touch, skews in to try and make the last ditch tackle. Adoma kind of shrugs him off, and he's really cool here. Bart goes down and he just kind of flips it over with his left foot. It's a nice finish in the end. It's good quality from Iorfa. It's really bad from Ipswich, because if you're gonna, you know, lose games based on corners like that, you're not going to go very far, and you're going to give yourself a lot of uphill battles. Straight away, though, again, another corner for Ipswich. Waghorn, this is a great chance. Bundle at the near post and over from Garner. Everyone kind of arrives at the same time, and yeah, Johnston really not fancying Garner's corners. It kind of plays out until half-time. Good move from Villa. They work it to Hurahan. Weak shot from him. As I suggested, Villa had the better of the half. They had Ipswich a bit at arm's length. The best plays were from corners. That said, Villa's goal came from an Ipswich mistake. So kind of annoying from the Ipswich point of view. Into the second half, another great Waghorn corner on 49. Everyone kind of jumps and misses it, and I think it was Garner again, and it kind of hits him on the head and flies over from close in. They really could have scored one of these 3 chances from the corners, Ipswich, but again, that was the only way they were actually getting chances. 52, Samba again, hilarious, takes it out of defence and then just tries to play a free ball and boots it out of the ground. Connolly takes a yellow card. He takes the yellow card he should have taken for fouling Hooper before the Sheffield Wednesday goal on Wednesday. Gets turned in midfield, pulls it down. Maybe Mick has had a word with him about that's what you should do if you do get turned. 56, Adoma is through, close one but offside, puts it in the goal. On 60, Mick makes his play at 1-0 down. Sears and Ward out, Selina and Hughes in, giving you a 3 behind Garner now of Waghorn on the right, Hughes in the centre and Selina on the left. And then 5 minutes after that, before Ipswich can really try and utilise those new players, Villa go 2-0 up. And again, it's absolutely rubbish. It's a simple hoof forward. And I like Iorfa. He's got certain things that Spence hasn't, but just appalling from him, I'm afraid. He's way out, kind of 35, 40 yards out. The ball's been played through. Adoma's not chasing too much, and he completely commits himself to a diving header. He's favourite to win the ball if he lets it go, but he's obviously misses the diving header, falls on the floor, takes all the pace off the ball to hamstring Bart, really. Adoma goes through, and it's a really easy chance for him. And then just to sum up Iorfa's day, 5 minutes later, he makes a kind of, you know, a big run down the right-hand side, obviously to try and make amends, and it looks like he either tweaks or strains, or worse still, pulls his hamstring as he chases the ball off the pitch, obviously trying to make amends for maybe having a poor hand in both of Villa's goals. Hughes gets a yellow for a bit of a tangle on Hutton. On 75, we see the return of Ted Bishop for Iorfa. Connolly drops in at right back. Connolly looks a much better centre midfielder than he does right back, and you kind of think, if you can play centre midfield, why would you end up right back? So going to be an interesting couple of years for Connolly in terms of finding his position there. Hughes joins Skews actually in the centre of the midfield. Bishop doesn't go there. Bishop goes out to the right-hand side of that front three, where Ward was playing, I guess. Taylor out, El Mohammadi in, Davis out, Grealish in. And that's it. A little bit of huffing and puffing at the end, but Ipswich not really, not really getting anywhere. Decent performance by Villa. It was professional. Reminded me a lot of Steve Bruce's Hull. Very pragmatic. Two players with quality were Adoma and Snodgrass. They can do something quick with the ball and break the line of Championship defenders with their quality. Not sure about Davis up front. It looks a bit cumbersome. I think Codger will come back in for Villa there. Whelan does a good job in the centre for them. They deserved the win. A lot of these Championship teams we've seen that do go up, this is what they do. They churn out clean sheets at home and win games just by sitting there and not making any mistakes, not blinking. Ipswich made 2 mistakes today and they lost 2-0. Villa didn't make any mistakes and, if anything, looked a bit wobbly from corners, but other than that were pretty good value for their clean sheet. From an Ipswich point of view, very bad day for Iorfa. He came up against Adoma, who was in a good vein of form, but Adoma didn't really have to do anything to get his 2 goals. He just had to put pressure on Iorfa, and unfortunately Iorfa made 2 mistakes and both were punished. Chambers-Webster, fine. Knudsen, good to see him back, and some nice work with Sears in the first half. Skews and Connolly, fine, but a little bit overrun in that middle, and a lot of the time they're outnumbered and the play just went over their heads and they were kind of pushing forward rather than actually doing anything with the ball. Ward, he does good stuff. He's got a great engine. There'll always be 2 or 3 times he'll engineer himself into a position down the right. I like him, but obviously people are going to look and see McGoldrick wasn't there and we didn't score. So Waghorn, great corners, joins things up well. Didn't get any shots today. I think if you look at the stats, he probably didn't have any shots. All Ipswich's chances fell to Garner from corners, basically. And down the left, Sears, well, he's got a lot of detractors now. He huffs and he puffs. Not a lot comes off for him. He does great running, great defensive work. Couple of nice bits of play with Knudsen, but nothing really to write home about from Sears. In the midst of this 5-game run now, Ipswich have drawn against Hull. They've thrown away the win and drawn against Sheffield Wednesday. They've now lost against Villa. There's 2 games left. You would have been looking for 8 points from the 5 games at the start of it, which now, if that's going to happen, means they need to go to Derby and win on Tuesday and beat Forest on Saturday. Whether that's going to happen or not, I don't know. Maybe we'll see Selina back in from the start on Tuesday now he's had a rest. Maybe Hughes might be ready to start. Who knows? It's an awkward time for him to be coming back. Nice to see Bishop back as well. I hope Mick sticks with the 4-2-3-1. There's some small chance, though, that we might see Mick shut out and go for the draw on Tuesday and play 3 at the back and kind of bring Knudsen in at left centre-back and Kenlock. I don't know. We'll see. Opposition player of the game has to really be Adoma. He was the difference, took the 2 chances when they came to him. Enjoyed the afternoon. Good luck to Villa if they keep churning those type of performances out. I've seen more spectacular teams going forward, I have to say, but Ipswich kind of lined up with a fairly defensive attitude and style of play. And probably did miss McGoldrick at the end, though we don't have a big enough sample size to say whether that was the decisive factor or not. I am going to drive back from Birmingham now. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up. Ipswich fan, Villa fan, give me a comment. Let me know if I've got it right, wrong, whatever you think. Interested to hear your thoughts. I'm just one man with an opinion. I could be right, I could be wrong. If you're an Ipswich fan, listen to the Blue Monday podcast at Blue Monday ITFC on Twitter. Show will be up on Monday reviewing this game and the Sheffield Wednesday game. Follow me on Twitter at Benjamin Bloom. Give this channel a subscribe, and I will see you on Tuesday. The game's coming thick and fast after the Derby game where we get reunited with Tom Lawrence. Eek. Goodbye.